season. SMU down a starter themselves. Shantae Embry is out again for the 4th straight game with the bad ankle. SMU wearing their away blues. TK Pitts, one of the leaders on this team, goes right at Westbeld, and that proved to be not productive. Notre Dame starters, Hannah Hidalgo a little short, but Westbeld, and that's exactly the way Coach Ivey envisioned it, the starting 5.
This is the starting 5 she saw at the beginning of the year. They've had some injury issues, finally healthy, finally in a position to start building chemistry.
And that is something we had a chance to talk to the 3 guards, and Hidalgo, Miles, and Citron. They talked about that. Shot clock winding down. King with the miss as the shot clock almost went off. And for SMU, we mentioned they are without Shantae Embry. Jessica Peterson is an elite rebounder, 3rd in the nation at over 12 per game. Robertson, a high-volume shooter, misses that one.
Well, and no surprise that Sonia Citron's going to get that matchup, using her length, using her size.
Citron listed at 6'1", and is every millimeter of that. Just mixed measurement systems. Oh, Olivia Miles trying to draw a foul. Good pace to this game, something that SMU will welcome. Miles just couldn't catch up. So a bit of a track meet so far, and no points to show for it on either end.
Montoya Wilson talking to her team about slowing down right there. Shot selection is going to be critical. And when you talk about a player like Nia Robertson, the shots she's used to getting against smaller defenders, she's not going to get against Sonia Citron. Those are opportunities for her to break down defense and get other people involved.
Robertson, well, here is Jones as she misses to the left. King is just terrific at rebounding, averaging almost 11.5 per game, which is 2nd in the ACC. Westbeld with the height advantage, and that's one of her signature shots.
It sure is. I mean, Maddy Westbeld's pace, her poise, she gets the ball on the block. She understands that there's an ability for her to create space, and she's really grown into that.
Playing just her 5th game of the season. Robertson working on Citron, attacks the basket and scores.
I like that take by Nia Robertson. You know, be a little bit more creative in her finishes. Find ways to get to the rim. Find ways to break down defense, not just settling for contested jumpers.
Robertson, the GW transfer, George Washington University in our nation's capital. Westbeld tipped it. Miles decided to bring it out and bury it. That's a 3 for Miles, who has improved in her 3-point shooting.
She has been a career in her first 3 years, 25% shooter from the 3-point line, and something that she really worked on when she was out with injury a year ago, shooting it at 44% on the year this season. And you think about Olivia Miles' ability to break down defense. She can get to the rim. She's one of the best facilitators the game has ever seen. Now adding that makes her even tougher to check.
One of the best the game has ever seen?
One of the best the game has ever seen. I mean, her vision, her creativity, her ability to find the right pass, the right play.
King misses the turnaround. Jones comes up with it. Neither team off to a blazing start as far as shooting the ball. Hits. Somehow the ball got over there to Peterson.
Well, talk about great rebounders. I mean, Jessica Peterson leading the ACC in rebounding. SMU, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league, in the country.
Yeah, particularly, as you mentioned, on the offensive rebounding side, they have had 20 offensive rebounds in a game 5 times this season, 5 out of 18 games. Peterson with a little hook shot that rolls around and goes in.
Well, SMU showing makes misses. When made shots, they're going zone. On missed shots, they're going man-to-man, trying to give Notre Dame different looks.
Westbeld with the miss, and so far SMU has done a good job of keeping Notre Dame off the offensive glass for second chances. Prosper will check in at the next available moment for the Irish, who find themselves behind. Robertson there showing the quickness, hits with the old board, but there was a foul on the Robertson attempt. And E.L. Ivy is going to go to the bench with her team shooting just 2 of 10 from the floor.
I don't think she likes the energy from her ball club early. You can see her talking to her team right there. The intensity, the energy, the sense of urgency that you play with. I mean, we talked to E.L. Ivy about this stretch right here. SMU coming into town. They have not played very good basketball over the last couple of games, and is it potential for a trap game? And she's like, every game we have to come ready to play. We know that.
That foul was on Westbeld, and it sends Robertson to the line. Robertson hits both free throws as we go inside 5 minutes in the first quarter. Citron, nope. And Carlin, grad transfer from Marquette, can't hold on to it at the first timeout. Look here, Notre Dame trailing SMU 8-5. Notre Dame just 2 of 11 from the floor. I want to welcome those of you who just saw Virginia Tech beat Louisville 70-65. You've joined us just as we're going to a timeout. We'll be back to Notre Dame. Welcome back to South Bend, where SMU has scored the last 6 points of this game to take a lead over a Notre Dame team that has missed 9 of its 11 shots. And this is an SMU club. Pam Ward here with Steph White. Steph, in their last 6 quarters, they were only averaging about 7 points per quarter, and they've gotten 8 points here in the first 5 minutes against a really good club.
Yeah, they've really struggled to put the ball in the basket. And Coach Toya Wilson talking to us in shoot-around today about, hey, look, our defense has been all right. It's our offense that needs to get going, and they've done a really good job here tonight. But you got to expect Notre Dame has to turn it up, and Hannah Hidalgo at the point of that.
Yeah, nobody does it better as far as taking the ball away than Hannah Hidalgo. And yes, your eyes don't deceive you. Hannah missed the last couple of games with a foot injury and is making her return tonight. The first time Notre Dame has had its full complement of players all season long, and this is their 18th game of the season.
And the timing is really important. The opportunity end of January into February to begin to build chemistry is going to be key for the Irish.
Peterson doing what she does best, and that's rebound the basketball, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. But then Hannah found Liatu King.
Pace, tempo. Notre Dame wants to play fast. They want to get it up and down the floor, made shots, missed shots, get some easy buckets.
Head coach Toya Wilson told us that she does not want this to be a track meet. Wants more attempts than turnovers. She knows what they're up against, taking on this Notre Dame team in their first year in the league. SMU coming over. That's some nifty work on the baseline by Peterson, who has 8 points. Fresno State transfer, where she played for head coach Jamie White. Jones goes down, and it's a held ball. Possession arrow. Goes over to the Irish. Toya Wilson, in her 4th season, was an assistant in Baylor for 6 years, including in 2019, which is when Baylor beat Notre Dame in the national championship season.
And Toya Wilson, prior to her stop at Baylor and Michigan as an assistant coach, was the head coach at Prairie View A&M, and I was fortunate enough to call her first year as a head coach in the NCAA tournament, losing to the Baylor Bears, ironically.
That's a tough place to go.
Yes.
And your first tournament game. King has been one of the most impactful transfers, I think, in the entire country, coming over from Pitt.
Well, most improved player in the ACC a year ago at Pitt, and has really grown into an expanded role here at Notre Dame, but she fits exactly what the Irish needed perfectly.
8 double-doubles on the season for Liatu. Inside 3 minutes now. Here is Brow. The Aussie finds Peterson a little bit too much. And then Brown missed an easy one. They got to hit those. Now Notre Dame trying to take the lead. Hidalgo short. Tried to chase it down, but she couldn't catch up. Niele Ivey in her 5th year coaching her alma mater, where she won a national championship both as a player and as an assistant, and is the fastest head coach to 100 wins. Proud mother of Jaden, who plays for the Pistons, and happy to report that she says he's doing well coming back from that broken leg.
Yes, doing well. Certainly sending well wishes to him as continued speedy recovery. But Niele has just done such an outstanding job of continuing the amazing tradition, obviously, here at Notre Dame, but making it her own.
Miles, great job to draw contact. As she came back into the game, Hidalgo now is out, and Miles was taken out earlier in the game, and Niele had a rather spirited conversation with her when she went over to the bench as Notre Dame fell behind early.
No, I don't think Niele Ivey was happy with the way that her team started the ball game. The energy wasn't there. They weren't taking care of the basketball. Not a sense of urgency that you want to have. I mean, this is a Notre Dame Irish team that has national championship potential. They've been saddled with some injuries, players in and out, but the expectation to compete at a high level night in and night out is there.
Miles delivers, and Notre Dame takes the lead. Robertson, leading scorer for this team with the miss, and Kate Cavall is in, number 13 in white, the freshman from Ukraine. Citron, who was red hot on Thursday night against Georgia Tech, is 0 for 3 in this game. Brow, who is from Australia, gets it over to Peterson, who's been causing some damage, and that almost went in. Prosper, another player who is coming along, did not play many games last year because of an injury. Just 5 games, and then was shut down after a leg injury, and there's Miles' quickness.
Olivia Miles just so good with the ball in her hand, and you can see she's holding her ankle right there. Gets to the rim, comes down on it in some obvious pain.
Neil Ivey coming onto the court along with Ann Marquez, their veteran athletic trainer, and this place is silent. Just when they got Hidalgo back, remember Olivia Miles missed all of last year after tearing her ACL in the final regular season game in 2023. Olivia, given the sign that she thinks she's okay. Let's hope that is certainly true.
Oh yeah, you can see she comes down on the foot of Kylie Marshall. But certainly a good sign that she's able to walk off to the bench on her own.
Literally trying to walk off that turned ankle. Baseline, good job getting it into TK Pitts, the junior from Tulsa.
And this is one of the areas of growth that Coach Toya Wilson was talking about for Nia Robertson, being able to drive and facilitate as Hannah Hidalgo gets an easy 2. Yes, turnover.
Hidalgo on the defensive end. She scores and then makes them turn it over.
The energy. I mean, she brings the energy. She is a player who changes the game when she's on the floor because of that defensive energy and sense of urgency.
Talked to Citron and Miles about that energy, and it's an interesting balance between the three of them. Citron is the quiet one and the silent assassin for this team.
And really the glue of this team. I mean, she's steady. You always know what you're going to get. She's fine just being a quote-unquote sidekick, right? But can equally score, facilitate, rebound, do all of the things.
She'll be a great pro when her career here is over. Shot clock winding down. Brow got it stripped, recovered, and then Hidalgo took it away again. She's a menace.
Relentless.
Now Hannah calls a play with the shot clock off. Citron, ball fake, step back, left it well short, but a 10-2 Notre Dame run will give them a first quarter lead from Notre Dame, where the Irish have a 5-point lead over SMU. Robertson, their leading scorer, that's a chancy pass, and Citron took it away. Citron told us today she loves playing defense.
I love hearing that. Right? I mean, when you have a player who is as gifted offensively as she is, that loves to be a lockdown defender and takes great pride in that, it's rare.
Now, Olivia Miles turned her ankle late in the first quarter. That ankle has been retaped, and this tells you, we just talked, this is the first game in which Neil Ivey has had every player available, and that's a lot of missed time.
It's a lot of missed time, and didn't expect most of this, right? Certainly knew Maddy Westbeld was going to work her way back. Kylie Watson was going to work her way back. But all of the adversity that this team has faced in terms of injuries and just plugging in people in different positions to have the success that they've had already, but now the opportunity to begin to truly build chemistry, truly build a rotation.
And even the big three, right? Hidalgo, Miles, and Citron. This is the first season the three of them have played together. Hidalgo, a freshman last year. Miles did not play at all.
And for a player like Citron to figure out where she fits with two ball-dominant guards on the floor, and for them to understand how to put her in positions to be successful.
And she says she is still trying to figure that out. Forced turnover for the second straight time. I think I saw her show a little emotion after she missed that shot. That she's usually as steady as Hidalgo is emotional. Jones elevates, rebound King. Good job by SMU to get back, but there's the mismatch underneath, and they found Westbeld.
And I love that Hannah Hidalgo, the entire time down the floor, sees it. She sees that it's coming. She waits for Maddy Westbeld to get in position. She's talking to her the entire time. That's the growth on her end of the floor from last year being a freshman just playing to this year being a leader, communicating, and thinking the game.
Yeah, it's scary. She is just a sophomore. National Freshman of the Year last year, and front-runner, I believe, for National Player of the Year this season as a sophomore. Oh boy, Westbeld thought she had a clean hand on the ball, but they called it on Hidalgo. Foul. So good news for Notre Dame. Olivia Miles back in, and the crowd, big sigh of relief and a lot of applause to see her back out there.
Well, I loved it when she was walking off the floor and just waved to the crowd. I think at that point you knew, hey, she was going to make it back.
Yep. The signal that everything's okay. And again, they retaped her ankle. Robertson at the line. She's from Fort Worth, Texas. Transferred from GW in the District of Columbia back home. Had 5 points in their last game, a loss to North Carolina. That snapped a streak of 24 straight games in which she scored a double figures. And she does take a lot of shots, Steph.
And they need her to, certainly. You know, I think she's a player who can light it up. She can get hot in a hurry. I mean, she averages over 20 a game, hit a big game winner against Syracuse. But I think now it's you're going to be the head of every scouting report, right? So now it's finding the opportunities to make your teammates better and then get it back on a second or third side or second or third action.
Well, that's a good look from Carlin. Post-to-post action to get King. Liatu King now with 6 points to go with her 3 boards. Oh, boy, that was hard off of Citron, but then the ball ricocheted back and hit Robertson. So it's Notre Dame's basketball.
Well, how about that look? Robertson thinks she's making a play right here to hit it off of Citron and just couldn't get out of the way quickly enough.
Miles inside. Citron signaled that she wanted the ball as she was cutting into the lane.
Well, the middle of the zone is wide open and no one is working it. Well, you don't need it, I guess, when you got Olivia Miles shooting it like that.
Yep. Miles and that improved three-point shooting, even though her numbers have been down in ACC play. Well up over the course of the season. Hidalgo on the go, doesn't have numbers, but she's good.
Doesn't matter, right?
When you're Hannah Hidalgo, you just go. It's a 20-3 run for the Irish.
Olivia Miles spent all of last season working on her three-point shot, working on her range, most importantly, the confidence to take those shots. And there's Hannah Hidalgo getting to the rim. Backcourt, best backcourt in the country, fam.
Absolutely. Coming up next Sunday, we have 3 women's games for you on the ACC network, starting off at noon Eastern. Zanai Jones and Florida State going to North Carolina. Then it's BC Wake, and finally Virginia Tech at NC State. Check it out next Sunday on the ACC network and on the app. Boy, NC State Virginia almost pulled off a huge upset in Raleigh earlier today. There were 16 ties and 16 lead changes. And State was able to pull it out at the end.
Zanai Jones had a big game,
yeah,
20.
She's good.
These are that's one of those situations that Toya Wilson was talking about. Nia Robertson drives into multiple defenders, long defenders certainly, but the ability to see that coming, to make the next pass or the next read, and then maybe chase it out and get it back.
Because some of the matchups, as the shot clock was winding down, they knew were at a disadvantage, and now Citron comes in and gets the block. Oh, Hidalgo. Driving, drawing a foul.
And Pam, it's really a difference in leagues, right? You're in the ACC, you're going to be the head of every scouting report, as Hannah Hidalgo uses that in and out to get to the rim. You're going to be the head of every scouting report, so you're not going to get the looks that you're used to getting. And you can still get those looks, it's just not going to come right away.
Last 11 years, SMU was in the American Conference. Before that, Conference USA. And the WAC. Hidalgo, sophomore sensation to say the least. Only Zanai Jones from Florida State is scoring more points per game in the entire country.
Zanai Johnson's a walking bucket too.
Playing that North Carolina defense is going to be interesting when they match up.
It'll be interesting to see who matches up, how they defend her. I mean, she does have great size as well.
Inside, Citron went for the block again. Good patience to get the bucket for Donavia Hall. That is their first points of the quarter. Citron in and out. Caval can't get the rebound. Good look at the baseline. Hidalgo able to tip it over to Caval, who quickly finds Miles. Miles just blows by everybody and count it.
I love that, Pam. Olivia Miles, the possession before that she drives it to the rim, rolls her ankle, but she shows you right now, no, she's still confident, putting it on the floor, getting to the rim. I mean, her finishes, they are not easy finishes. She makes them look easy, but I mean, that's a heck of a move and a tough finish.
Olivia Miles only had 2 points at the half Thursday against Georgia Tech. A little bit of a slow start here, went to the bench, and she's flourishing right now with 13 points.
And she told us, you know, in shoot around today that she's still finding her way. When you're coming back from an injury, and yes, she was able to practice at times last year, but rhythm, timing, conditioning, efficiency, all of those things take time, and she said she's still feeling that.
Behind the back, Hidalgo pulls up. Westbeld fouled on the rebound. That's the first on Jessica Peterson, third year at SMU. Maddy Westbeld also coming back from an injury. Sonia Citron's roommate, and Sonia gave her a lot of credit, said she knows what Maddy had to get through to get up at 7 in the morning and go to sessions to try to get back on the court. It takes a lot. Hidalgo, she's always going after the ball.
No, and you remember, Pam, at the beginning of last year, you know, Citron goes down, and I think it's against Purdue with a knee injury and missed a lot of last season. And so these players know and understand what it takes, and that not only allows them to empathize with what's going on mentally, physically, and emotionally, but to help them be patient with one another as they're recovering and coming back and working their way back into form. Nice pass.
Wow, oh Miles into Westbeld all the way across the lane.
My goodness.
And then Robertson challenging Caval. SMU did a good job on the offensive glass earlier in the first quarter, but now Notre Dame's taking over, and Maddy misses from 3. Ball comes up with the board. And that's a travel.
One of the best passers in the country. Look at that with the left on the money. Sees the mismatch. That's across the lane, over the top pass with the offhand by Olivia Miles. I mean, her vision, her timing, her creativity in her passes. I think she certainly is one of the best that I've ever seen.
Wow, that's her first assist of the game, and it was a good one. Prosper. Paul has gotten some good boards since she has come into the game. And you can just see the height advantage for Notre Dame, and there's the shot buried by Zanai Jones, grad transfer from Villanova. The ball saw Prosper. And Notre Dame gets a second and now third chance. Hidalgo from Miles.
Well, Notre Dame struggling from the three-point line early in this one, but this is a team that leads the nation in three-point field goal percentage, so you expect them to find it at some point.
Bank it in. That's the 3 for Brow. They just won game last year and then got hurt. Trying to go inside to Westbeld, and it's picked off. Jones sets things up. She is their point guard, 12th in the conference in assists. Trying to get around both Prosper and Westbeld, which is not an easy thing to do. 3 minutes to go now in the half. Miles with the sweet dish over to Koval. Olivia could have easily scored on that on her own. That's the first points for Koval, who got off to a great start and has seen her scoring and production go down. The freshman from the Ukraine. Hannah lost it.
Oh, Niele Ivey is not going to like this because she had multiple players who didn't cross or barely crossed half court in that situation. And SMU finding a little rhythm on the offensive end. And that's one of the things that Toya Wilson talked to us about. She said, look, we know what we're up against Notre Dame. We got to play hard. We got to compete. We got to find our offense.
Koval got hit, and we'll head to the free throw line. That was Magalico who got the bucket, the Arizona State transfer on the breakout. Look at Coach Wilson. Defensive Player of the Year when she was at Manhattan College. And Koval goes to the line, and now some more substitutions for the Irish and for the Mustangs.
It's challenging when you're a coach like Niele Ivey has to try to put these combinations and rotations together when you haven't played together all year long.
Koval gets the first one. Our Wednesday ACC Network men's basketball doubleheader starts things off at 7 Eastern as Stanford goes to Clemson, and then Florida State all the way out in Berkeley to take on Cal. Check it out coming up Wednesday on the ACC Network and the app. Two minutes to go now in the quarter. Hidalgo had an open shot and then got her own miss and put it in. Anna now into double figures. Outside shot for Peterson. As the Irish calm things down. 4 of their 5 starters on the floor. The ball for Westbeld, the only exception. And there's an offensive foul called by Carla Fountain. Jeffrey Smith and Teresa Stuck are other officials tonight.
Carla Fountain signaling to Niele Ivey that Olivia Miles was holding the jersey of Zanai Jones.
It's more of a soccer move usually,
That,
right?
that is a little bit of a soccer move. Use that off arm.
First one on Miles. Now Peterson working against Carlin. Miles cradles it. And Miles and Hidalgo have done a really good job with rebounding. Each of them, both of them, pardon me, have 7 boards apiece, the guards.
And when you have perimeter players like that who can rebound and go like they can ignite your break. And Notre Dame really struggling to put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, they got off to a good start in this quarter, but it pulled off. Good look from the outside. And Zanai Jones buries it.
And we can hear Toya Wilson over here saying, move, move, a post-entry pass. That movement caused some confusion for the defense and allowed SMU to get a wide-open look.
Miles quickly over to Citron. Another board for her, and now Notre Dame can kill the quarter. Hidalgo directing traffic. Miles cuts in the middle. Another great looking shot to end the quarter. And Notre Dame led by as many as 19 with 5 minutes left to go. They're up the line. SMU trying to pull off a monumental upset in their first year in the ACC. Jones, their point guard, a little bit too strong, tipped out, but Miles is able to collect it. And then finds Liatu King. Oh, it's magic when this offense is in sync.
You know, they're so good in transition and long shots, long rebounds. If you're not going to get the offensive board, which is what SMU does really well, you are vulnerable to leak outs in transition. That wasn't even a leak out. It was just an opportunity to get an easy one.
Miles, just an uncanny ability to get the ball to the right person at the right time. King stuck her hand in and forced the turnover. And now Hannah beats everybody down the floor. A couple of transition buckets, and Coach Ivy very pleased over there on the sidelines. We can imagine that she was not so pleased in the locker room at half.
I'm sure there was a spirited conversation. And more than anything, it's about competing at a high level, competing to a standard. You know, certainly they are working out some kinks, but the intensity, the sense of urgency has to be there.
Peterson with the miss. King with yet another rebound, and here's Olivia. Put her up with her offhand and drew the foul.
You mentioned Olivia Miles is magic with her passing ability in transition, and she just the look behind over her left shoulder. She knows that Liatu King is coming in the lane. She delivers it on time, on target, so that King can go right in stride.
Olivia Miles, we had an opportunity to talk to her about, there was all that chatter last year when she was hurt that there was no way she could play with Hannah Hidalgo, and she told us she never even for a second thought about transferring out of Notre Dame. Talking about, I mean, it's a pretty good group to be a part of.
It sure is. I mean, and again, you know, I don't know any coach in the country that can't put 2 primary ball handlers on the floor at the same time. You know, I think that's something for the fans to continue to debate and talk about and whatnot. But when you look at how those 2 complement each other, Hidalgo being able to play off the ball, Miles continuing to improve her game from the 3-point line. You know, this is a team in the Fighting Irish that are a national championship contender. They have all the pieces, they have the experience, they have veterans, they have young energy. They've just got to be able to stay healthy and build that on-court chemistry.
Westbeld just picked up her 2nd foul. In effect, 2 elite point guards on the floor at the same time, 2 people who can bring the ball up, and then you put Citron in the mix. Citron did not shoot the ball well in the first half. Shot clock into single digits. Jones lost the ball, and Westbeld, who's about a head taller than her, picks it up. Hidalgo, nobody picked her up, and that's a problem. The 4th time these 2 programs have met, and the first time since 2008. Notre Dame has scored All 8 points in this half. Liatu King just picked up the foul. Last time they played was the last time SMU has gotten into the NCAA tournament, and that was 2008, and they played in your old neck of the woods. They played up in West Lafayette. Notre Dame won.
Notre Dame won.
Yep.
Yes. And you've got to think about if you're SMU. Again, this is a team that's been in the American. It's coming into the ACC. Great job by Jessica Peterson. It's about every day chipping away, every day getting better. The speed is different in the ACC, the depth at every position, the size at every position, some of the things that you've, and this is a team also that has 7 transfers, right? So they've got a lot of different pieces that they're putting together. It's about how we're competing, how we're playing, how we're paying attention to detail, how we're attacking scout.
And Robertson misses again. That's a long pass that was intercepted. Looks like Robertson is okay. Trailing the play. Jones took the 3 and she knocked it down. Jones with 3 threes today. She only had 12 in the first 18 games of the season.
Only shooting it at 27%, so a good sign for SMU and Toya Wilson.
Hidalgo draws another foul. Carlin coming in for Westbeld. Maddy Marshall just picked up her 2nd foul. Magalico subs in for Peterson. Jessica Peterson just got another double-double, her 8th of the season. Here's Hidalgo at the line. Thursday at 10 Eastern, after our women's basketball doubleheader, the Nothing But Net crew breaks down the night in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every game, and they look ahead to the weekend on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Muffet, Kelly, Ivory, Justin, and I'm sorry, Muffet, I didn't know Muffet was in the studio with Ivory when we threw it to him at the half. Don't want to ever forget Muffet. Leading his team to a couple of national championships. Got a statue outside. Marshall left open just for a second. Robertson with the second chance. And Robertson and Jones listed at 5'7" and 5'5" respectively. Their starting backcourt. You see Citron just towers over all of them. Inside, Magalico. Nothing doing. Hidalgo with the floater pass over to King, who got hammered.
I'm not sure what that was. That was the most advised pass by Hannah Hidalgo, but Liatu King able to just use her athleticism and go up and get it. And then the hard foul.
Ball just picked up her 2nd, and now King heads to the free throw line. Coming off a great week last week, one of 5 National Players of the Week by the USBWA, the writers. First team All-ACC last year, and as you mentioned, most improved player at Pitt. In fact, had her career high against Notre Dame at Pitt last season.
Liatu King is one of those players who undersized at her position, no question about it, but has such a tremendous motor. I mean, she's relentless. She's the ultimate role player. She understands and excels in her role.
She's only 6 feet tall on a good day. Magalico blows by Carlin, the senior from Mozambique. Miles left open, passed up the 3, threw it behind her back to Carlin. Now Prosper got it knocked away. Nice play by Robertson. And that is thrown to Coach Wilson. Notre Dame up 52-35 as we take a timeout in South Bend.
Ohio State, Notre Dame. Can't wait.
The CFP National Championship presented by AT&T begins Monday, January 20th at 7:30 p.m.
A little over 24 hours from now in Atlanta, Notre Dame will be taking on Ohio State. And there's the Irish getting into town as the underdogs. I don't think anybody really expected either team to make it all the way. Boy, what a job Marcus Freeman has done.
He sure has done an outstanding job. It's going to be an exciting game. You know, certainly, you hope so.
Hope so.
I think it's going to be.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a tight one.
Right now, the Notre Dame women's basketball team with a 17-point lead over SMU, but there's some of that talent for Nia Robertson.
Just such a quick first step. He gets by Prosper late on the rotation. No, those are tough shots to finish when you got Kassan Prosper, a 6'3" guard who's on your hip, right? And then you've got Liza Carlin, a 6'2" forward coming over, and that's a tough finish by Robertson.
Carlin called for the foul. Robertson with her first points of the half, again coming in averaging 20 points per game, third in the ACC behind Latson and Hidalgo. And Latson, remember, leads the entire country in scoring. Collision underneath as Hall got tangled up with Prosper, and they get Hall for her third foul. Thought she was coming out of the game, but then put on the brakes. Nagalico went out. Carlin and Koval in there now, and there's Koval. Big height advantage, and then goes right back to her postmate. Prosper wisely takes it out.
It didn't finish, but that was a great cut. You see the double team on the block, and great cut, and there's an easy two. Olivia Miles continues to find her way to the rim.
Olivia Miles with her 6th double-double of the year in this game. And remember, she has 3 triple-doubles this year alone, including back-to-back.
Back-to-back, yeah.
Which no ACC player had ever done. Prosper got a hand on the ball, but also picked up a foul. It's the first. Kassan has not scored after having a terrific game, 15 points against Georgia Tech the other night, 5 of 7 from the floor, 9 rebounds. Miles goes out and rubbing that calf. She turned her ankle late in the first quarter. Robertson goes back to the line wearing the mismatched tennis shoes, or basketball shoes. That wasn't a thing until recently, right?
No, I feel like there have been a number of players. Yeah, defined recently.
Not when you played.
No, not when I played. Okay. That was not recent. That was ages ago.
Oh, come on now. Hidalgo floating in. Anna now with 18, Olivia 17, so 35 points between the two of them, and SMU just has 38 as a team. Yeah, some of these matchups are tough, right? Prosper on Robertson still was able to get the shot off.
2 good looks right there for Robertson. Felt like her pull-up, that was a good decision. Didn't over-penetrate, had 2 good looks, couldn't knock them in.
Hidalgo a little bit too strong, but Prosper gets him a fresh 20 seconds. Koval with the turn. Prosper again, her second offensive rebound on this trip. Mismatch. Tried to get it inside, and Carlin was held.
And I like the look to try to get it inside because you do have the mismatch, but you also got to read that heavy help in the corner. Corner's coming over, you got Citron right there. But this is all, again, chemistry, learning to play together, learning to read one another, then learning to read defense.
Zanai Jones, who is 5'5", called for the foul on Carlin, who is 6'2". Carlin, one of those hit with the injury bug, hurt her left foot in an exhibition game. Her first game was against UConn on the 12th of December. Next Sunday, we have 3 women's games for you, starting with North Carolina at Florida State. There's that Tanaya Latson game against the defense. BC, Wake Forest, and then Virginia Tech at NC State. Triple header coming your way next weekend on the ACC network next Sunday and the app. Brown couldn't save, and the ball goes over to the Irish. Westbeld comes in for Carlin. Coach Ivey has played 8 today. 8 different players have gotten in.
Oh, what a luxury for her to have. 8 healthy bodies that she can.
Oh, that's a nice look from Westbeld, and King had to get creative. Another O board. Citron fouled on the perimeter. Now, as a head coach, you've been playing with not your full complement of players. If you're Neil Ivey, is it an adjustment period for her now that she has everybody?
I think it's an adjustment period to figure out your combinations, which ones play best together, and then what rotations look like, substitution patterns, you know, how you build your depth and efficiency within that depth. And look, I think throughout Neil Ivey's tenure here at Notre Dame, there have been some injury issues of one sort or another that she's had to navigate, and she's done an outstanding job of navigating all of that, and her team's still competing at a high level.
Got to the Sweet 16 last year. Lost in Albany to Oregon State. The ball comes back over. Nia Robertson, by the way, picked up her 3rd personal foul on that last trip down the floor. And Toya Wilson, you mentioned it too. She's dealing with a lot of new people. You mentioned the 7 transfers, 1 freshman, and with Embry out with an injury, everybody who's starting today was not a starter last year. So a brand new starting lineup, brand new conference, and a darn good one. Westbeld from the baseline. Boy, Prosper has been a beast on the offensive glass.
I think Kassan Prosper has such a bright future. I mean, the combination of her 6'3" frame, her athleticism, playing on the perimeter, I think her ball handling skills have to continue to get better, decision making, but her experience, not just here at Notre Dame, and remember, she was an early enrollee. Right, came to Notre Dame a semester early, got thrown into the fire right away, has terrific international experience, including the Paris Olympics this summer. Her upside is tremendous.
Coach Ivey echoed that when we asked her about it earlier today. Miles came up short. Hidalgo, body's hitting the floor as it goes back to SMU. Robertson lost the ball on the way up. With some encouraging words from her head coach, Toya Wilson, being aggressive to the basket. Robertson's first year at SMU.
And you were talking about all the change and adjustment for SMU as well. I mean, this is a team and a program that only returned 26% of its scoring and you know, just under 30% of its rebounding, really retooling while entering the new conference. And you go from the American to the ACC, where night in and night out, I mean, it's completely different. And that means not just a different in physicality, but a different mentality, what you have to bring every day.
Miles back in to run the point. Hidalgo's on the bench. All the way across court. Citron, another miss. Now SMU can take the final shot of the quarter. Notre Dame on a 9-0 run. Blocked with authority by Maddy Westbeld, who then calmly walks off the court. Feels like we'll be lower than that for the next couple of nights. We had some snow blow through today. It's cold. King knocked to the ground after a Westbeld pass. As soon as she hit the deck, you saw a couple of players, Notre Dame players, jump in to help King up to her feet. King is another one with a very, seems to be an even-tempered individual. knows about her work.
Well, and you can't think even-tempered means not fiercely competitive, because when you think about Liatu King and Sonia Citron, I mean, both of those players, incredibly competitive. Both of those players bring value and make winning plays.
King got her 1,000th career rebound Thursday against Georgia Tech in the win here from Washington, D.C. It was 1 out of 2 at the line. Pam Ward and Stephanie White joining you. SMU, one of the 3 newbies in the ACC this year, along with Callan Stanford. Robertson ticks the front of the rim. Here's Hannah. After missing the last 2 games, Miles goes a little no-look to Hidalgo. Got the roll. And Miles actually struck a pose at midcourt as that rolled in. Another 20-point game for Hidalgo, her 14th this year. 14 out of 16 for Hannah. Seeing some nice stuff from Sandra Magalico off the bench. A couple of years at a JUCO in New Mexico, then Arizona State. Now playing in Dallas with SMU. Westbeld put on the brakes, and that gave Robertson some daylight.
Well, Robertson is one of those who can heat up in a hurry. So, making sure if you're SMU, you want to continue to give her looks. If you're Notre Dame, making sure you know where she is, especially in transition, to not give her some easy ones. And here, Hannah Hidalgo just gets into the mid-range, and she holds her pose for a while until that thing goes through the bottom of the net.
And so did Miles out at midcourt. Citron has had a tough shooting day, gets that in off glass. Sonia had missed 8 of her first 9 shots. She's missed all 5 of her threes. But she does so many things well other than shoot. There's Citron. Hidalgo hit her in mid-stride. Now Citron, who is one of the best free throw shooters in the country, will go back to the line.
Great job of running the lane, and she just coming over to the top. I don't know, on the replay, that looked like it was a long ball.
Yeah, it's a tough call against Hall, who now has 4. Hidalgo with 10 rebounds on the night. That ties her season high. 20 and 10 for her. Olivia Miles, 17 and 10. So double-doubles for both of them. Our Wednesday ACC Network men's basketball doubleheader. Chase Hunter and Clemson take on J.J. Starling and Syracuse, and then follow that with Florida State and Cal coming up Wednesday on the ACC Network and on the app. And Citron is just about automatic at the free throw line. 95% this year from the line.
You just wish you'd get there a little more often. Right? I mean, she's a player who has the ability to get to the rim, and that's an easy way to not just put points on the board, but get some confidence if you're not shooting the ball particularly well.
Does not have enough free throw attempts on average per game to be rated in the statistical rankings in the ACC and nationally. That's a nice move. Bucket for Robertson. Here we go.
And that's one area that I think Sonia Citron excels in, her off-ball cutting. And as these players start to learn to play together a little bit more, particularly Hidalgo, Miles, and Citron, she's got to find her moments and her areas where she can get that off-ball cutting, because they can put the ball on the floor and get to the rim.
Citron has scored the last 6 points for the Irish.
The timing is sometimes hard when you're not exactly sure where the attack is coming from, and that's just a great read along the baseline. Miles delivers it right on the money.
It was refreshing. I don't know, you as a head coach, music to your ears, right? When Citron said she would rather shut down
Oh,
people on defense and score 20 points in a game.
yeah. She'd rather shut down the opponent's best player than score 20 points in a game. And look, she's had those matchups. I mean, she's guarding Paige Beckers and Juju Watkins, and she's guarding the opponent's best offensive player on most nights.
Another bucket for Magaliko. Juju and Paige in the same season. She had to guard them. Notre Dame winning both of those games. Great work by Peterson to save it in bounds, and there's a kick. The ball stays with the Irish. Now they're getting bigger. As Prosper comes in, so does Carlin and Caval.
And I like this because you get an opportunity to look at different types of lineups, right? So now you've got Olivia Miles as the lead guard and Sonia Citron on the wing, Prosper, two bigs on the interior. So now how do you attack? Do you attack into high-low? Do you look for post entries and then play out of that as opposed to one-on-one dribble penetration?
Very different look with this lineup. Citron finds Caval.
And I think this is really important for Niele Ivey to get a look with true bigs on the floor, because I see the biggest challenge for this team in the NCAA tournament is running into a team that has dominant bigs on the interior. Defending them, being able to score on the interior, or at least be a scoring threat in multiple ways.
So an opportunity to get all three of them in at the same time. Carlin and Caval have played together quite a bit in this game. Prosper with length out on the perimeter. And that's going to be a shot clock violation. Notre Dame on the season with just 2 losses. And that happened when they were playing in the Caribbean. There's Prosper inside. And losses, back-to-back losses to TCU and Utah. 2 teams in the rankings. Timeout taken by SMU. It's a palindromic score. Notre Dame up 74-47. We are back at Notre Dame, where Niele Ivey certainly has broken a barrier here. The first female black head coach ever at Notre Dame. Had a terrific career here as a player, leading them to a national championship in '01 in her hometown in St. Louis under Muffet McGraw, and also was an assistant coach. There's Niele, baby Niele, back in that magical season. Kelly Seaman, Ruth Riley, among the players on that national championship team. There's Carol Owens to her left, Michaela Mabry to her right. A great staff here, and boy, Niele has picked up right where Muffet left off, and it's not just a cliche. It is tough to follow a legend.
It is,
and she's made it look not so tough.
Well, you know, look, she's learned so much from Muffet McGraw. She's learned so much in her experiences as a player. Her expectations and her ability to adjust to the types of players in today's age. She's forward thinking. You know, she's a terrific basketball mind. She's a great human being. She's an incredibly competitive, you know, person, and she's just perfect for this job.
Prosper sends Robertson to the line, and you know Niele Ivey in a different way too. She was your teammate, right, with the Indiana Fever.
Yes. Great teammate, great competitor, obviously great point guard. And when you think about this being guard U, right, and Muffet McGraw and all the point guards that she's brought into this program, and Niele Ivey being along the sidelines at that period of time, you know, Skylar Diggins and mentoring Skylar Diggins and being able to be that voice and to continue the legacy of great point guards here at Notre Dame.
The ball into Carlin, who gets her name on the scorer's sheet. And you coach Niele too? Did you coach Niele?
No, I did not coach.
Okay. Former head coach, the former and current head coach of the Indiana Fever, Stephanie White. Shot buried by Zanai Jones. And you played with Niele when she was pregnant, right, and had that little
Jaden, yes, that's right.
Who now is in the NBA with the Pistons.
I always just couldn't even imagine when Niele was going through that, and Jaden would be at practice all the time, and she had to compete at such a high level as a pro. I mean, what an incredible job she has done, not just as a coach, but as a parent.
And her team right now is a 25-point lead, still coaching them up as we take a break in South Bend. best backcourt in the country, and the numbers tonight bear it out. Hidalgo missed the last 2 games with a hurt foot. But look, they both have double-doubles.
Both have double-doubles, and Hannah Hidalgo working her way back after missing a couple of games you mentioned, and she looked a little bit rusty but found her way. Both incredibly impactful, and I certainly I don't think there's an argument that they're the best backcourt in the country.
Second time this year that both Hannah and Olivia have had a double-double in the same game. They also did it against Syracuse. And we also welcome back Emma Risch, number 2 in white. There she is with the ball. Missed the last 4 games. Apparently she did get the flu, and it hit her really, really hard. And trying to come back, she had season-ending hip surgery about a year ago. So it's good to see Emma back. And again, one of the players, and the first time this year that Notre Dame has been at full strength with every player available. Hidalgo's going to come back in at the next whistle. Robertson guarded by Prosper. Tried to trickle it down the baseline, and now Miles one-on-one with Jones, and somehow found Caval streaking down the court, but she couldn't finish. It's one thing Nell Fortner said on Thursday, that Olivia Miles has eyes all over her head, not just in the back of her head, all over her head.
That is true. That is true. And not just that, she's able to deliver shooting passes, right? It's not just being able to deliver a pass. It's in a position that someone can do something with it. And she does, on time and on target, as Doug Bruno always says.
Zanai Jones with a chance at a 3-point play. Now Miles subs out, and Hidalgo comes in after Olivia picked up her second foul of the night. Robertson just 4 of 15 from the floor. Now has 16 points on the evening. Getting a lot of points at the free throw line. And a chance for an and one on this end of the floor. Peterson picked up the foul. Now Liza Carlin, grad transfer from Marquette, first team All Big East last year. And she had 10 double-doubles for Marquette. Delivers the 3-point play as we hit 3 minutes to go in the game. And a foul called as Peterson was trying to navigate her way around the ball.
Peterson's been quiet in the second half. They were able to go to her early in the ball game, and then she has not been able to find a rhythm in this second half.
Thursday at 10 Eastern, after our women's basketball doubleheader, our Nothing But Net crew breaks down the night in the ACC with highlights and analysis, and look forward to the weekend as well. Catch it all here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. They were here on Thursday night for the Georgia Tech game. Nice to see that crew here in person. Buffett had a home game.
But that was nice for her.
Yeah. Jones took it away from Hidalgo momentarily. Boy, Hannah with the left hand off glass. You can slow her down, but you can't stop her.
Certainly cannot. I mean, her change of pace, her change of speed. Look at her just eyeing the help defender. Does a great job of using her body to shield the contact, putting it up with the left hand. Look, anytime you put the ball off the glass, you got a chance for that thing to go in. And Hannah Hidalgo, big time play.
And a 5 for 5 from the line tonight. It's 23 points. Robertson went into the lane, and Hannah Hidalgo, when you talk about Player of the Year candidates nationally, of course, Juju, just a sophomore, like Hannah, and Paige Beckers. And okay, do you think this is the top three, or I mean, there are other names in there?
Yeah, there's certainly other names. I do think that those are the three leading candidates. And right now, at this point in the year, I mean, I think Hannah Hidalgo is the player of the year, right? I mean, certainly there's a lot of basketball left to be played, but what she's been able to do, the efficiency, the numbers.
And it's both ends of the floor,
It
right?
is both ends of the floor. I mean, she is certainly a leading candidate.
Last year in the ACC, she was the defensive player of the year, not the freshman of the year, and overall defensive player of the year.
Led the nation in steals,
Right.
second in the nation in steals this year, second in the nation in points.
There's a moving screen. Ball goes back to the Irish. Peterson picks up her third foul. Peterson with 11 points on the night, but just 3 in the second half, but still doing the job on the boards with 13 rebounds, which is her specialty. Leading the ACC in that category, but too much Notre Dame tonight.
We knew it was going to be a tall task for SMU. Great job, again, working that high-low baseline cut against the zone. And you've got to be pleased with some moments in this game by SMU. I mean, they had struggled mightily the last 6 quarters of basketball offensively. They found a little bit of rhythm at some points during this game, but now it's about continuing to build consistency.
The last 6 quarters, as the shot clock winds down. Peterson, nice move right to get around Caval and beat the buzzer. The last 6 quarters coming into this game, they were shooting 16% from the floor and averaging 7 points per quarter. Hidalgo goes out, and a big ovation too because Sarah Cernugal is in. Walked on 4 years ago. There she is, number 25 from Westmont, Illinois. Jones with the finish. And it doesn't get much easier for SMU because their next game will be at home against Duke. Notre Dame, on the other hand, goes to Boston College, Virginia Tech, and Louisville. So 3 road games in a row for the Irish. Caval with 9 points tonight, which is a good sign too because she had been in a little bit of a mini slump.
Yeah, they're certainly going to need a post presence from someone like what Kate Caval brings to the table. Her size on the interior, her ability to play with her back to the basket. The challenge for her is going to be defensively against some of the bigs that she's going to match up against.
True freshman, played her high school ball in the U.S., but is from the Ukraine. Still has family members there. In the waning seconds, Prosper stepped on the baseline as she was trying to get it over to Rish. So a full-strength Notre Dame team shooting 46% from the floor tonight. Hidalgo and Miles combining for 40 points. And also 20 rebounds between the 2 guards. Both got double-doubles. Jones with the basket.
Those 2 on the season combined for 45% of the scoring and 25% of the rebounds for this Notre Dame team. But the depth, I mean, certainly now getting bodies back, the depth